Welcome back to ESPR Boxing's YouTube channel. Delighted, as always, to be joined by Gregory Doyle. Greg, thanks for jumping on. Good to speak to you. Bit of news that broke in the past 24 hours. But yeah, one that we're kind of I'm really interested to hear your thoughts about this. Josh Taylor potentially fighting Florian Marku. News is that Florian Marku's team sent an offer to Josh Taylor's team in the past day or so. And at the moment, we can't guarantee the fight's going to happen, but it's being a fight that's being discussed. Your reaction to this fight possibly happening?
Yeah, thanks very much for having me, Elliot. As always, it's a fight I would be excited for, Elliot. I think that there's a lot to be done to make the fight happen. But Florian Marku is a big fan base. Josh Taylor has a big fan base. Obviously, being from the same country, I'm very aware of the things that Josh Taylor brings to the table. It's a fight that excites me because it would be welterweight. It would be a new weight for Josh Taylor. It'd be a step up for Florian Marku. Josh Taylor's arguably coming off of two losses in a lot of people's eyes. A lot of people thought that Jack Catterall beat him. I'll sit in the fence for that one. I did think it was close, but I do think Catterall maybe just did nick it in the end. He then lost to Teofimo Lopez. So, yeah, stepping up away, an undefeated guy who has a decent ranking. Good fight for me.
Yeah, I think. What would you make of the argument? People have differing opinions on Florian Marku, don't they? As you mentioned, undefeated fighter. Some would say he's not faced anybody of note. He's faced decent fighters. But he's not faced like a Chris Congo or an Echo Esman, somebody of that sort of stature yet. Blew out Dylan Moran back on the Eubank Liam Smith undercard a couple of months ago in what was that, a minute? I think that fight lasted. What do you think of like this? Such a huge step up for Florian Marku. Does it still appeal to you, or are you of the mind that you believe Florian Marku is a very good fighter? He just hasn't had the opportunity to show it yet.
I'll be honest, Elliot. I think there's levels to the game, and I don't want to start going into a national chat or anything. But I think if Josh Taylor was from anywhere else, I don't think that we'd be talking about Florian Marku for his next fight up at welterweight. But I do respect Florian Marku a lot. I think he's a very, very tough operator. I think he's got balls of steel. I think he's quite funny. Um, yeah, he's everything that you want to like as a boxing fan. So maybe as a step up, and Josh Taylor hasn't looked good in his last two fights. Maybe Florian Marku deserves this. There's a lot of guys who have been world champions, Elliot, that they end up fighting someone that maybe doesn't deserve the shot,
Mm.
but sometimes it can work out in the end. I mean, look at is it Jermaine Ortiz? He ended up he shared the ring with Lomachenko. What did that boy do to deserve that? But it was quite competitive. It went the distance. So yeah, I've got time for it. If you're asking me, would I sit and watch it? Absolutely.
Yeah, and I think also like with Josh Taylor, in my opinion, can you imagine if he loses his next fight? Then he's going from undisputed champion to pretty much everyone thought he lost to Jack Catterall, loses
Yeah,
quite convincingly to Teofimo Lopez, and then loses again, whether that be to Florian Marko or to someone else. It's a hard, it's a very hard road back for him to arguably have lost three fights in a row there. So the more I think about it, the more I think, look, I really want to see the Jack Catterall rematch.
yeah.
Whether it happens, I don't know. If it does happen, do I want that fight to happen at welterweight? Not really, because I don't think that's really Jack Catterall's weight. So I've kind of got mixed feelings about that. So yeah, I don't think Florian Marku, as you mentioned, undefeated. One belts in his career. Is Josh Taylor going to get heaps of praise for beating him? Personally, I don't think so, but it's not a bad fight for him. Thoughts on this fight happening instead of the Jack Catterall rematch, Greg? How do you feel about that?
Yeah, Elliot, I totally agree with what you're saying about it would only be fair to Jack Catterall if it was at £140. But we've seen now it's in stone that Josh Taylor basically does not have no more business at 140. I've watched various interviews with Eddie Hearn lately. There's talk of a 143, 144 catch weight. I can make time for that because it's £3, £4. It isn't a lot. But yeah, I just think that with Jack Catterall, it would only be fair if he gets his world title shot at 140 now. But I do think that if that isn't made for his next fight, I can't see Eddie Hearn offering an awful lot of money to make Jack Catterall, Josh Taylor at a catch rate, maybe 143.
Yeah, I think it's an interesting one. Jack Catterall had a beat Jorge Linares a couple of weeks ago, where maybe wasn't the most enthralling of fights. It was a fight he was really expected to win. So like the state that his career is in is probably for another video, and we'll see. See if this happens. Yeah, I think look, the more I think about it, the more I think this is a possibility. We spoke off there about kind of the offer not being right for Josh Taylor from Boxer,
Yeah.
and it's boxing politics, isn't it? Like we'll have to see if that gets worked out. If this fight happens, Greg, do you think it will happen in Glasgow? I don't think for 1 minute Josh Taylor's going to get on a plane and go to Albania.
Yeah.
But I think that obviously, if I was Florian Marku, I might say, I don't really want to fight you in Glasgow. I've seen what happened last time you fought in Glasgow. Let's fight in Manchester. Let's fight in Liverpool, maybe. Thoughts on the location?
Yeah, I think bad decisions can. It's been shown they can happen anywhere in Britain. I do see it being in Glasgow, Elliot, because Florian Marku has the craziest fans that will travel, and good on them. A lot of respect for them. They're very passionate people. Whereas if it was Josh Taylor going down south and on a boxer show, he will still take a strong crowd. But I get the feeling that Florian Marku's fans would follow him to the desert. So yeah, I think if the fight happens, I do think it will be in Glasgow or Edinburgh, Elliot.
Yeah, I do think I agree with you. And look, it would be a fantastic atmosphere, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Mixture of Scotland fans and Albanian fans. I think it would be a night to remember atmosphere wise. I really do. Final question as we wind this one down, Greg. What do you think would happen? Josh Taylor, I imagine, would be a very strong favourite. Be a fight he would really have to win. Marku, we've seen Marku maybe in a bit of trouble against Ryland Charlton a few years ago, and he got knocked down. Apart from that, I wouldn't say not too much, but he doesn't look unbeatable.
Yeah.
At this stage, what do you think would happen in that fight?
Josh Taylor inside 5 rounds.
Solid
Quite confident.
prediction. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. We'll see. Look, I think Josh Taylor hasn't been that active the last couple of years. I believe the fight against Jack Catterall was February last year, so it's one fight in over 18 months now. Marku, when he fought last, that was his first fight for a year. We need to see these. We need to see these guys back out again. We want to see these guys in big fights. Both fighters. I think Florian Marku's 30. I think Josh Taylor's maybe a little bit older than that. Neither fighter's getting any younger.
Yeah.
So I'm not against it. I'd rather see that than Josh Taylor maybe face someone who fans aren't too aware of. And Marku, we want to see Marku in a big fight now. We've done enough videos here at ESPN on Florian Marku. It's about time to find out how good this guy really is. Greg, thank you for joining me. Appreciate your thoughts and your time, and I will speak to you again soon.
Thanks as always, Elliot.